What is up? Welcome back, everyone, to another live stream repair. We have got Jonathan's HomePod that we're going to be picking back up on. After that, we've got quite a few here. Let's start naming them off here. We've got Alan with Death Farts, Glenn, also Death Farts, and then an anonymous Death Farts repair, Eric with a redeeming no power repair. But then we're going to jump right back into it with RN with Death Farts. And then we've got a brick we'll take a look at. An anonymous no power. Uri. Uh-oh, we gotta split this up. Uri with a no power. And then another Death Farts. John with no power. Last but not least, another anonymous one. I think that says 214. Woof. Alright. Quite the loadout. I don't think we're going to get through all of that today, but we'll see what we can do here. Alright. Oh, yes, of course. We're not done typing yet. We need to find Jonathan here. Where's his tape? Where's his tape? That's how I keep track of people. Oh, I found it. Alright, so we've got Jonathan 136, that's right. Let's find them here. Find them in our email. Shoot them a link. Alright, Jonathan has been emailed. Let's shoot Alan a message so they've got plenty of time to join in. Alan was number 229. We texted them. I'm going to go ahead and pull out my laptop because it's honestly easier for me to text people from my laptop than it is my phone. Here we go. We found him. Let's shoot him a link. Rest in peace, physical keyboards on phones. There was that YouTuber, if I'm not mistaken, John Redinger, that was coming out with like an iPhone case that gave it a physical keyboard. And what I really liked about it was it did not obstruct any of the screen. A lot of these keyboard cases take up a good chunk of your screen to give you the physical keyboard. I'm not about that. So, anyways, let's dive into Jonathan's HomePod again here. If you don't recall, we left off on this one at the end of our last repair stream. We were at a bit of a loss, and I'm here to happily report to you folks that I did spend quite a bit more time on this by myself. Sometimes I just gotta spend the time by myself without the stream going in the back of my head to focus and you know, pick parts and think of good ideas to test this through. But anyways, what I ended up doing was we replaced the Schottky diode, and we still saw a short on the board where this diode goes. So we saw a short on this component, and the inductor will normally, when you pull this component off and you check it with a multimeter, it's going to appear short, and that is normal. It's an inductor. But the pads that connect to the inductor underneath, without a component on there, they should not show that they are connected through the board, and they were. So I started pulling stuff off here and there, becoming a bit at a loss until I flipped things around and I started exploring different areas of the amp. So for example, here is the other side directly. So there's our Schottky diode back there, and then if we flip the board upside down, that's exactly where this other stuff is on the other side. And then here is one of the amplifiers for one of the 7 tweeter speakers, and then you can see these 2 holes here. That's where the screws go through the amp and connect to the each of the 7 tweeter speakers. And each speaker gets its own connection. It gets its own amplifier, its own filter here. All of this stuff. There's 7 of these. Here's one. Here's another. Here's another. You guys get the idea. But I was just going around the board. I couldn't find much, so I took out my spare board here that I have sacrificed for the sake of removing every single component to try to find out what's connected to that Schottky diode here and all these other pads that are making this appear short. And what I found was that one of the filters, I don't know, it's a capacitor in any case. Here we go. One of the capacitors here was shorting out. Actually, every single one of these. This in particular. But every single one of these for each of the tweeters was showing bad. Or at least it was showing shorted on the board. But this one looked visibly toasty. So I got a little too excited and I already pulled it off and replaced it. And to my great surprise, it turned right on. So we have got ourselves another no power issue to add to the website. Thankfully, I don't think I've seen more than maybe a dozen instances of this kind of failure. So I'm not going to be replacing those parts in every single HomePod that comes through here. This is a pretty rare and one-off failure if you ask me, especially in comparison to the, technically speaking, statistically speaking, one-off repairs that we've been doing here this whole time. At least from Apple's perspective. Everything you've seen us fix here is still within a very much acceptable failure rate for a device that was sold as much as these. But anyways, I already tested it too. I already replaced the filters and the Schottky diode on this, so we got the strange new no power issue diagnosed and fixed, and then we knocked out the maintenance so that it doesn't come back for any of those other common problems. So it's ready to go back together. And then we'll jump right into Allen's. But keep an eye out on my website. I will add a new issue that covers what I found the other night. Chances are, if you're working on your own HomePod with no power, you're gonna get the usual shorted diode. You're probably not going to run into that same capacitor shorting out. But I do get a lot of people that reach out to me that try their own repairs, and they're like, hey, I tried and it wasn't the diode. So there are other causes out there. But again, by far and large, it's usually the diode. Man, these ones are being a royal pain to kick things off, huh? Oh, I normally have them all in by now. It might be time for new bits, too. I think I've been on the same ones for about a year. Nope, 2 years now. And granted, iFixit did send me 5 of them, but we've chewed through all 5 of those a few streams ago, actually. Which one was it? Our last T6 bit actually just like shattered while we were working on a HomePod here. I do have one subwoofer already pulled and set aside, but I was not prepared for 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 HomePods that might all each need new subwoofers, and it's gonna get real stinky in here. This one, thankfully, had no issues. And with those filters that we've already replaced, it should stay that way. Nice and sealed. I don't understand why it kicks back like that sometimes. It must be how I must be pushing the button early. I don't know. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Easy. Just stuff those back in there. Ah, the sweet sounds of a dying fan's bearings. There we go. Say something. Hello. It's gotta not connect to the internet first, and that takes time.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
There we go. All right. We'll let that settle down and test it out. Excuse me. Here we are now with Allen's. After Allen, we've got Glenn, so we'll go ahead and switch things around and let's see. Allen, and then Glenn. Which one was Glenn? Oh, that's right. 203. Let's find that one. There they are. Alright, so what's up with Allen's here? Let's take a quick listen. Yes, it should turn right on, and it looks like it's already factory reset. So the thing we need to listen for, right when that turns off, before it plays that setup chime, listen to how loud it pops. Ooh. And then again when we unplug it, yikes. Okay, folks, hopefully we don't have our first stinky subwoofer of the stream hiding in there. Let's reveal the smells. Oh man, I'm beat up. I tried putting the engine back into my Z yesterday and I ended up shaking it around for like 2 solid hours and giving up. Had to pull it back out and push the car back into the engine bay. Or push the car back into the garage. I think I'm gonna have to take the line that connects the steering wheel to the power steering rack out, so I've got just enough room to clear it and angle it right, because I think my problem right now is the freaking whatchamacallit, the downpipes. The exhaust that's attached to the end of my turbos, and the turbos are on the engine right now, so I'm trying to finagle all of that as one single unit into the car. And I did not remove the transmission. The transmission is still in the car, so gotta line things up just right. And there's about a hole yay big in the engine with a rod about yay long and about that thick sticking out of the transmission that you gotta line up just right. At just the right angle. Like if the transmission's sitting at an angle like this and the engine's sitting at an angle like this or this, nothing else is gonna work. It's gotta go square on. Struggling today. Wow. There we go. I know what my problem is. Dang, this is our last one too. Oh, but it's worth it. Oh, Mike, welcome. Sorry, I just noticed you in the chat there. Are those colored tops for sale? These ones in particular are not. These are all beat up. You only see the nice parts of those ones. But, tell you what, colored tops are way easier to do than entire HomePods, of course. And I don't have to use nearly as much dye, and I can do it a lot faster. I will think about selling colored tops. It won't be super cheap though, because, well, I already can't. I already charge what I think personally is too much for used ones as they are. But that's because the only source for them is to buy a whole HomePod, unless you live in China. Someone over there has a stash of brand new ones. Which color are you talking about? I'm curious. Because I absolutely would not mind putting one of those together for you. Yeah, good luck getting any parts for these first gens though. I imagine anything of that's gonna be long gone. And they, as far as I know, and pretty much anyone else that I've heard of knows, Apple doesn't repair any first gens. They never really have, and they never will. So they don't have a stock of parts to fix any of them, which means chances of them having any stock of parts anywhere. It's pretty low. But you never know. You never know who's got what where. You like the yellow? The yellow, yes. This is actually more of a, I think this was a tangerine orange. The tops tend to take a lot less color than the mesh and power cable, of course. But the color that they result in, as you can see here, it's a really nice complement to the deeper, richer color that the mesh takes. And you can do pretty much, you can hit pretty much any tone and any intensity of this and this to nothing and anything in between. You can't get much darker or more colored than this, but you can do pretty much any color. Oh, my email, my poor email. I have been all over the place with my emails and even text messaging recently, just because it's been so freaking busy. I haven't been anywhere. I have been basically staying up till midnight, packing as many HomePods and replying to as many emails and sending off as many shipping labels to people that submit a repair request as I can before I literally can't and I pass out. But hey, it's a good problem to be having. It's a problem I need to have. Especially, who knows how things are gonna go. You never know. Well, anyways, what we do know is we are here in a familiar spot on our amplifier board. We're going to replace our filters first. These are what pretty much always go bad and lead to death farts and that real loud popping that you heard in Allen's here. Do I have a Discord? Yeah, I do. Easiest way to find my Discord, I don't remember what my username is or whatever, is there's a link to my server on the top of my website. You can find me there. Man, it's a good thing I ordered a few thousand capacitors, because I am almost out of them already and I only got them a few months ago. But I'm gonna need to order a few thousand more. Very soon again. It's insane. I used to only buy them like 100 or so at a time. And that was if we replaced them. But now these suckers gotta go. They go every time we crack a HomePod open. We used to test them and only replace them if they went bad, but eventually we started seeing ones that tested fine, but were not long-lived after that. So the HomePod came back to us for, granted, unrelated repairs, but issues that we could have prevented. And it's not even that it happened that much. I think it only happened like 3 or 4 times before I said, okay, screw this, I'm just going to replace them every single time. I think, honestly, it just got more cumbersome and like non-trivial to put it together after fixing its power issue to test it and see if the filters went bad, just to take it back apart again if they did need to get replaced anyways. That plus having a few of them coming back when we didn't replace them, it just all said prevent it. And you know, ever since we've done that, not a single HomePod has come back for those filters to get replaced again. Not that they're not going to go bad again, they are ceramic capacitors, they all age and decay, and they will eventually need to be replaced. Unlike that Schottky diode. And wow, that resistor's also in great shape too. Is that it? Did the subwoofer survive? Yes, it did. Okay. That should be all this needs. Back to the capacitors aging and needing to be replaced again eventually. These ones should at least last the same length as the originals, so we're looking at 6 going on 7 years now that the originals lasted, with plenty more out there that'll last far longer. And also keeping in mind that we were seeing the originals failing as early as a year into their release, so I think it's a mix of questionable quality parts that were used and an amplifier design that ultimately did not account for these filters going bad. I mean, you do have death farts. It does try to tell you that the filters have gone bad. It's trying to stop you from using it by doing those death farts. And for those curious, for those of you who haven't heard what a death fart sounds like before, I'll go ahead and play that for you. Headphone users, you are fairly warned. So if your HomePod starts making that sound in particular, and it's followed by it restarting itself, then unplug it and stop using it until you can fix it. Otherwise, it will cook the subwoofer and it will become a more expensive and more complicated repair. Alan here did good. His subwoofer survived, and all it needed were some filters, so the planet thanks him. Another subwoofer does not need to go in the trash, or at least sit on my shelf for who knows how long till I can find someone to refurbish them for me. Yes, I've kept every single cooked subwoofer that I've replaced here on the channel, and then some. Of course, there's a lot of HomePods that I don't fix on my streams just because I come in here for a few minutes and chip away at it and then go back out there and try to multitask between things, and that would not make great streaming content. But the majority we do stream, and every mail-in repair, unless somebody explicitly tells us do not stream it, do not stream it. I don't care if it's anonymous or not. Do not. If they give us a reason, we won't stream it. If they're just trying to make our lives easier, it probably won't. We're just gonna stream it anyways. But we do get people. I'd say like a couple, 3 to 5 every month, that give us a particular reason. They just don't want it streamed, and that's totally cool. They don't want anything possibly tied back to them. It's risky enough for them shipping their HomePod to me and then paying me to get it fixed and sending it back to them. I totally get that. Alan, welcome. Just saw you in the chat there. Do I replace the filters? Yeah, Mike, you sent in your amplifier. If I have a chance to replace them, like as in pretty much if I have the amplifier board in front of me, it's gonna get new filters. It doesn't matter what else I'm fixing on it. They all get new filters. Everything else is on a needed basis. If it needs a new diode, if it needs a new resistor, if it needs a new anything else. But those filters, I don't trust no filters no more. And that is also part of my warranty too. So I say, I not only try to prevent those issues, but I'll say even that if they do start to happen, that's part of your warranty. Because I said that would fix it, and I factor all of that into how much I charge folks. So. Yeah, I am not surprised to hear that your other one is working fine, and I wouldn't even worry about it, frankly. It's like I always say, don't bother spending any money on it or ripping it apart if it's not giving you any issues. Who knows how long it'll go until it does give you issues. It's inevitable. It could be months or years. It could be after you end up replacing it with something else, and you send it to me. You're like, I'm done with this. Here you go. You can have it. Which, by the way, that's the only time I ever want to see another HomePod. If I've already, that's the thing I hate most about working on these is getting one that I've already worked on back. Part of why I always replace those filters. Hate getting one that I've already worked on back, unless I'm buying it or it's being given to me. Oh, those are the best. Getting it for free because of an issue. You know, my number one most popular tweet ever got like over 200,000 likes, 2 million views, and I don't know. It was a pretty big tweet. I was proud. But it was just a simple photo of a 49-inch super ultra wide Dell monitor that one of my coworkers had given to me. He just gave it to me for free. He was like, "You want it?" I was like, "Heck yeah." So I posted a picture of it on Twitter, and I said, "Being the office junk man has its perks, like a free ultra-wide 49-inch curved Dell monitor." And boy, did it blew up. It classic Twitter blow up. Like, people were posting all sorts of memes and engagement baiting in the replies and crazy quotes, and my DMs blowing up, "Hey, can I get a monitor?" And it's like, no. What I didn't tell anybody, and this is what only the people that have watched my live stream deserve to get to know. It was broken. That's why they gave it to me for free. I mean, I get all sorts of cool stuff similar to that from work all the time. But for some reason, that one just really hit Twitter's spot. And I didn't tell anyone on there that it was broken. I did, it was a cracked LCD, of course. With a monitor that big, if it's gonna be a cracked LCD. But I snagged a replacement LCD for only $100. So I already got that. I put it together and it's working. I've got it in my living room, hooked up to my security cameras, and it's absolutely perfect for what I use it for. And the price was great. I can't say the price is right. You can only say that for things you got for free. How often do people donate you their broken HomePods? I'd say probably like only about one a month. Sometimes we don't get anyone for the next month or so, and then sometimes we get maybe 2 or 3 to catch up. And then I usually get about 1 or 2 people a month that offer to sell them to me. And I offer just a flat out, I don't care how it looks, I just want the complete set of parts. And I'll give you $60 and I'll even send you a shipping label. And if you don't have a box, I'll send you a box. I might take a couple bucks back from you for the box, but oh no, wait, I get the box back, never mind. And that's about how much I'm willing to pay for broken ones off of, like, Goodwill and eBay and the likes. Beautiful. At least right now, that sounds pretty well fixed. We'll put it through its paces, of course. Up next, the same problem, different pod. We've got Glenn here. I'll go ahead and turn this one on while we're catching up on the keyboard. And you'll probably hear it pop as I'm typing and it wakes up. After Glenn, we've got another anonymous popper. All right. Ooh, yeah. Not quite as bad as Alan's, but it's getting there. There we go. Okay, we got DC 215 emailed. That should give him plenty of time to join in. Here's Glenn's HomePod. Let's hopefully do the same thing, no more, no less. Oh yes, my pleasure, Alan. You'll hear from us after the stream once we've gotten a chance to catch up with the rest of the day. How many do I have for sale at the moment? I have as many as you want to buy. I put them together. Basically, I have a number of ones in various shape and with various problems. And if somebody buys a refurbished HomePod from us, it gets basically the same treatment. I'll shoot you a link to watch me fix the one that I will be sending to you live. We'll take it apart and do the usual hardware maintenance to prevent all of these common problems that we fix here from happening to you. It gets a 1-year warranty just in case, but we try to prevent all of that. And then we also, unless you specifically say send me one that is not in perfect condition, then we by default pick from the best looking ones that we've got for you. So I can't, so it's $160 shipped anywhere in the US, and I unfortunately don't have any room for discounts because it usually costs too much for me to buy broken ones at the rate that people want to buy them, and I'm happy to fix and sell them to people. Whatever keeps these things being used and not in the trash. And I'd rather all these HomePods go to people that are going to use them than sit around on my shelf hoping that they'll get used for parts or put somewhere around my house. Goodness, I've got enough for myself as it is. But that said, I do need to make it worth my time, and I need to make sure I don't lose money on it. So I usually end up paying somewhere between $60 to $100 after tax and shipping for most of my broken ones, and then, you know, that's $160, so that's another $60, which is about how much you'd pay for a repair. So price-wise, it's about as cheap as I can get it without losing my mind or just not wanting to sell it out altogether. If I had to sell them for any less, then I would rather just keep it. And not just that, but like, geez, the market's kind of screwed up. Because it used to be I could sell refurbished originals for $200 plus shipping. And if you wanted a custom one, I could color it for you for an extra $40. I could do whatever color you want. Same with the tops there. I could do it all in there for you. But of course, you know, the second gen came out and the prices for used working ones came down, but some dingus keeps going around telling everybody how easy these are to fix and finding ways to fix new problems that we keep finding. And I guess keeping the value of broken ones dang near how much used ones are. Because I guess anybody crazy enough to buy a first gen at this point, we're approaching 7 years since these things were made, and you've got the second gens, which are starting to look, you know, people are wondering where's the refresh for that and the competitor for that and what have you. But anyways, let's get these filters first. And then we'll take a look at everything else. And then even with shipping, it's like I can't, there's no room for discounts with shipping because shipping one HomePod costs $10. So I'm really only making $150 minus however much I paid for that HomePod in the first place, and then my time to fix it. So that's only $150, and then sorry, I gotta focus on that. This is what I get for trying to talk and work at the same time. But anyways, one HomePod costs like $10 to ship, more or less. 2 HomePods, believe it or not, $20. They give me no grace there. Oh no, man. Somebody from Lithuania emailed me the other night. And they were like, hey, I've got like 3 HomePods that I tried fixing myself. Can I send them to you to fix them for me? And unfortunately, it was going to cost $150 just to ship 3 HomePods back to him. Not to mention however much I would want to charge him to fix them and however much it would cost him to ship them to me. But, you know, the crazy thing is, depending on where they live, Lithuania, they may That may be the cheapest option still, and the only option. They may not even be able to buy second gens or even more first gens for parts if they wanted to. And unless they can get good at fixing it themselves, buying another one for parts isn't going to be the best choice, because unless you take it apart and do the same maintenance, you know, prevent the death farts with the filters and the diode with the filters, it might not even be, you're gonna have to take it apart again and do it again anyways. I don't know, maybe I'm not even making any sense and I'm just rambling. What do we have here for the diode? Yeah, that is a 46K dated diode, so that's gotta go. Well, anyways, yeah. There's my price. I stand fairly firm on it. Unfortunately, not much room for discounts without me saying, just go buy a used one online at that point. Or, this is something I do for folks too. And depending on the situation, it might be cheaper. And actually, in Mike's case, this is the way to go. Get your hands on a broken HomePod for as little as possible. If you can spend like 80 to 90 bucks or less on a broken HomePod, then plus how much for me to fix it would be less than a refurb from me. But if you have to pay more than like 90 to 100 bucks for that broken HomePod, then plus my repair cost, you might as well just buy one of my refurbs. And if you're checking out, if you're gonna buy one on eBay to have me fix for you, you're gonna want to enter my shipping address during checkout before you pay for it. You can't message the seller after you've already paid for it and say, hey, can you ship it to this address instead? They can't do that. They can ship it to any address that you put in during checkout. And that is eBay policy. Totally understandable too, but catches people. Yeah, the subwoofer's like 3/4 of the whole weight. It's insane. But that's good. It means there's some good parts in there. Good magnet. So yeah, I'm replacing this 10 ohm resistor just because it looked very slightly toasty. Maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's the angle, but it is one of those things. I have seen them get blown up or get close to blowing up when it gets to the point that these are popping and death farting, so I'd rather not risk it. I can't tell you exactly what this does, but I'm starting to figure it out, because I noticed that the 2nd gen HomePod has a spot for the same thing, but none of them have it. So it must have been, I just don't know. Must have been something they deemed not necessary in the 2nd gen that the 1st gen either needed or they found out it didn't really need. but it gets blown up, so we replace it when we need new filters and when it looks weird, or if it does get blown up. Alright. Is that a happy HomePod? Yes, it is. Wow, so far, no stinky subwoofers. Aren't we lucky? Do I have a video on dyeing it? I have... What's it called? If you go to my website, nixfix.com, at the top there's a cosmetic tips. I've got some steps and I think a live stream slash sort of a video on how I do it. It's by no means like a proper video guide, but it gets you the idea. Oh, the tops too. I think the video has the tops in there too. What I do for the top is I take a piece of clear tape and I stick it on the back to cover this little white circle and then come off so that I've got something to hang it from when I dip it into the dye bath. It needs to be 200 degrees also. The dye needs to be hot or it won't take. And you do a few dips and then you rinse it off, and then you do a few more and you rinse it off. You rinse it off because it'll start to accumulate layers unevenly. So you gotta rinse off the extra. You just keep rinsing it until it looks nice and even again, and then you can go back and give it a few more dunks until you achieve the shade you want. And a little unethical life pro tip for the volume buttons. You don't want to cover the volume buttons with, well, you can cover the volume buttons with tape if you want, but I've found it's too difficult, and too often the dye water still seeps underneath and unevenly colors these. So I tend to like to keep this circle and the volume buttons exposed and only put the piece of tape over this and hanging off so I can hold it. But with these dyed, then it's a little dimmer shining through the display. So what you do is, this right there is a teeny tiny little chip. That shiny little guy right here. This, quite often people accidentally break it off because they don't peel this display up in one piece. They accidentally get the tool that they're using to pry things apart in between. This is a plastic piece that sits on top of this PCB, and you can get in there, and you don't want to get in between these. It's not the end of the world, but you can break this ambient light sensor off. And what happens, not like I said, not the end of the world, but it doesn't adjust the brightness automatically anymore. It's just full brightness. It's not like the display is always on. It's just whenever it is on, it's at full brightness. And if you colored the top, you get where I'm going? It looks great. It looks awesome. Now, full brightness through the original white or black, it's too bright. Too bright. At least in a dark room, but full brightness daytime or dark room with the colored top, oh, it looks great. These aren't extras necessarily. These are I can't give you these because they are my samples, and they don't. Yeah, they're not in great shape. They won't stick. They won't work very well for a top anymore, unfortunately. But they look great sitting there. Now I gotta keep these ones in particular, because if I don't have them there, then people like you don't ask about them. Can you imagine if I had sent somebody else the tangerine one, and you had hopped in here, and that tangerine one wouldn't be here? And you wouldn't have said anything, and you would have never joined another one of my streams. We would, you know. Nah, I'm just kidding. Tell you what, though, actually, I do have a second red one that I don't need. Yeah, look at that. But I mean, if you want this, yeah, well, I can throw this your way. Hold on, now I got myself all mixed up. Kurt, what is up? Welcome. Oh boy, we can fix it. There isn't anything we can't fix here, and if we can't fix it, we can replace it. And then I stick what I can't fix in a big old pile, and I get to it some other time. All right. We won't know that it's fixed without, resetting and updating it. But we can get a good idea here and now. Who's next? 215? What do we got? Yes.
Having trouble connecting to the
Excuse me.
internet.
Yes, that is a lot better. All right. Of course, every big HomePod, be it the first gen or second gen, they can tick or click a little bit here or there as they wake up or go into standby mode, but loud popping and thudding is probably not such a good sign. Here we go. Let's get the names switched around. Up next we've got Eric. Let's find Let's find Eric and shoot them a link to watch. Oh, I did put them up there twice. Nice spot. I mean, took you long enough. Jeez. Alright, Eric has been emailed. Let me fix that. There we go. Oh yeah, so the physical condition of my refurbished HomePods, I always pick the ones that look as close to new as you can get. I mean, if you're extremely particular, you might have problems, but what can you do? The thing is, you know, we're getting 7 years old on these now. So unless you pull it right out of the box, you're not gonna get one that looks very fresh. But I still have all of the cosmetic parts in excellent shape. And what we do, I've got a whole shelf of, yeah, I was talking about it earlier, I've got a whole shelf of broken ones. And oh, if you want a refurb or 2 or 3 or more, I live stream fixing them all up for you and putting them back together with the nicest parts I got sitting around. Now that said, if you're getting one that you're trying to put in the garage and you don't care how it looks, do let me know and I'll send you one that's not in the best shape that I've got. I'm not going to send you one that's all beat to heck and, you know, nasty and gross and all that. But, you know, I've got ones that like have imprints in the mesh and or like a scratch here or there that I generally keep for people that want those particular parts. But most of the money's in the parts themselves, not the physical condition. So unfortunately, if you want one that looks ugly or looks pretty, it'll be the same price. Make that a little easier. I would say your average refurbished that you pick up from me would look like this. It looks nice and clean, nice and even. It's not gonna have stuff like this. I'm not sure what that is, but I picked the good stuff. And then this top here, I mean it's dirty, but there's no scratches on it. So I saved the best of the best parts for the refurbs in particular for you folks. So while I may not, ooh, that one's wiggly, be able to give any discounts on any of them, I do try to give you the best for your money. In this economy, you're asking, wow, this is not This is so not coming up that the basket's starting to crack. Haven't run into one like that in a while. Not a problem though. We can swap that out with another. $2.15. Yes, sir, that is you. You are correct. If you care to keep yourself anonymous, though, I would suggest deleting your chat there. But if you don't care, feel free. Welcome, welcome. In any case, I dropped a screw into one of my tweeters and the magnet ate it. Oh no! I hope you got it out. What I'm looking for is a uniform color on the copper voice coil, and that it's copper colored, of course. And you only get this tiny little inspection port here to see it, so that's why I hold it at an angle to get the light to shine in there so I can see it, and I also give it a good sniff. God help my body with whatever cancer I'm gonna give myself sniffing all these subwoofers. I'm gonna be on my deathbed like, man, you got any subwoofers? I could really go for a whiff right about now. And the doctor's gonna be like, no, it will kill you. Oh yeah, that glue was really on there. Well, and we do not glue these back together because the glue doesn't seal anything. All it does is make it difficult to open it up. It holds this speaker basket down, but everything is actually already sealed by our handy dandy O-ring that goes all the way around this, that sits right under the subwoofer. And then the subwoofer gets its own gasket. That glue has no chance of providing any functional seal for the subwoofer or keeping anything airtight. If anything, it was just an extra measure to keep things from, I don't know, falling apart in shipping, but there's so many screws that, and I mean, you look at the second gen HomePod, they did away with all of that glue. There's no glue holding the second gen together, and they use fewer screws at the same time. So, no sense in gluing it back together just to make it more difficult for the next guy to get in the future. Now that said, if you particularly want me to glue it back together for you, I'm more than happy to do that. But I've never actually had anybody follow through with that. Happy to oblige someone one day. I dare you to have me break out the caulk gun. I will get it. And I will glue this sucker back together. But please don't make me. For the next guy. Not for you or me, but for the next guy. If I want to refurb along with your repair, do I shoot a reply to the shipping? Yeah. I will follow up with you after the stream today and after I get a chance to eat and catch up with the rest of the day, but feel free to shoot me another email and let me know that you were interested in a refurb. It's $160 for the black or white ones, and it's $200 if you want me to do a custom color. I can do pretty much any color. You want blue? You want red? You want pink? Actually, funny I think of pink. Arin is coming up here and they've got quite the collection of colored HomePods from us already, and they want this next one done up pink. So maybe if enough people are interested, I will live stream coloring Arin's pink when I get to that. It won't be today. It'll probably be Thursday. I'm thinking more like Thursday, yeah. Glued your mouth shut with super glue once. No. The worst I've done is glued my fingers together. That was not fun. I can't imagine doing that to my mouth. Hopefully you made it out of that alright. Without too much trauma. Oh, I see you. Gotta let my eye twitch for a second here. There we go. Beautiful. Someone take a picture. No, wait, let me clean it first. Do we need a new Schottky diode? No, we do not. Do we need a new resistor? Yes, we do. Yeah, it looks pretty toasty at that angle. You see how great it looks at that angle, but then those dark spots in the middle of it. It looks way worse in person, let me tell you. But let's get that replaced. I guess I need to make another order of these resistors soon. Oh, lots of rubbing alcohol. See, man, oh, that makes my lips hurt thinking about that, too, how dry they would get. Ooh. And then plenty of chapstick for recovery, I imagine. Or at least some Vaseline or something. You've never used super glue without gluing your fingers shut together before. Gloves. Gloves. And not just to keep it off your fingertips, but it makes it so much easier to work on stuff because it doesn't stick to the gloves either. If you're using the right gloves. It's fantastic. No pun intended. Well, we might have gotten away with not needing a new Schottky diode, but it did need a new 10 ohm resistor, as is the theme here today. At least the theme is not roasty resistors like I feared and baited you all into thinking with that stream title. Drinking alcohol for recovery, yeah. That'd do it too. Alright, that should do it. We'll double check the subwoofer and we'll put this back together. Would a dyed pod be any cheaper if I've already got the dye bath going already? Not really, unfortunately, and oh boy, as is the theme with the way that I price most things, I'm already at the bleeding edge of it not being really worth it for me. Because, oh well, first of all, getting the dye bath ready that's the easy part. That's the part that requires no attention. I can just set the pot on the stove and go do something else while I wait for the water to heat up. Even if it's the same color, the longest part and the most tedious part is dunking the parts, rinsing them over and over until it takes the color that I want, and dunking the mesh and sitting there and you have to keep stirring. If you don't keep stirring, then the dye settles and you get an uneven color take and it doesn't look so good. It's quite a not a fun process. It's not fun at all. And for $40 for the time and effort that it takes, it is quite the steal. And I make less, and it takes more time to dye a HomePod. The frickin' dye is like $8 to $10, which it ends up being more than the cost of most of the parts to fix most HomePod issues. Like the filters, those are a couple dollars. The diode's $1. Well, 50 cents to $1. And then the rest of it's my time and shipping and packing. The results from the dye, like from coloring them, it's always worth it to me. It always it looks so great and good, and it stands out, and you don't see much like it. But I've been debating internally jacking the prices up for the coloring just so that when people do ask for a discount, I can put it down to the $40. Oh, that'd be awful. No, but I would like to if I can find a way to make it quicker and or easier, then I could do it for less. But it's just such a process. My back hurts thinking about it. You want a perfect HomePod blue for $100? I think you mean a mini, right? Got him. Do I have samples of any of the other colors? I need to add a few to my website. Generally, the deeper, darker colors take better than the lighter colors, like the Kentucky Sky Blue, for example. I personally hate how it looks, but some people love it. I don't know. It's my photos on my phone are unfortunately very disorganized, but maybe in a day or so I can find a few other photo examples of ones I've done and upload them to my website. If you scroll through my Twitter media, you'll come across colored HomePods. I post pictures of HomePods every time I color them on my Twitter. The Midnight Navy. Let me. I'll look through and see if I have any pictures of that one. If I'm not mistaken, the Midnight Navy ended up not turning out Midnight Navy. It ended up being more of a purplish, like a dark purple blue. The ones, in my opinion, that turn out like just the most vibrant and take the color the best are the red ones, the sapphire blue, the forest green, or whatever there's only one green for the synthetic dye more. The Sandstone was another really good one. Oh, Sandstone was really good. Unfortunately, I've only ever had one person ask for Sandstone. Oh, MP214 is still up there twice. I need to fix that. Narrator voice. He never fixed it. Fast forward to the end of the stream. Where's 214? Where's 214? I can't find it. Okay, my back might just be hurting from throwing around a freaking twin turbo JDM engine yesterday. And I still didn't get the thing in there. Oh, I feel so defeated. But I will get it in. I will drive that car again. Oh, if I didn't have so many HomePods, hey, keep sending them in. I'm not saying don't send them in, but if I didn't have so many HomePods, I'd be out there every waking minute, wrenching on that car until I could get it running again. Well, no more popping. And
I'm having.
Jeez. Shh. All right. That sounds excellent. All right, we've got Eric. We're gonna switch things up just a teeny tiny bit here with a no power repair before we get to another stinker, one with bad bass from Aaron or Aaron. I'm not actually sure how you're supposed to pronounce that. I am sorry. But here we go. Eric, no power. After that, we've got Aaron or Aaron. And then 214. Do I have like two of them? And why did I? Oh. I see. Easy mistake to make. Okay. Before we jump into Eric's here, give me 1 minute. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. All right. We are back. Let's shoot Aaron an email. All right. They have been emailed. Everyone's been emailed. No lights, no power. A couple of watts from the wall. That's what I like to see here. A nice and easy no power fix. caused by none other than the usual Schottky diode going bad for no reason other than a bad batch of them floating around out there. Thankfully, we know which date codes on those diodes to look out for. Unfortunately, no correlation to the serial number on the HomePod, but on the bright side, you don't need to go worrying about ripping all of your HomePods apart. It's going to be the same time, effort, cost, and all that to fix it after it fails or prevent it. Now, if you've already got your HomePod apart for anything else and you spot that date code on that diode, then replace it so you don't have to do it later. But it's a pretty isolated failure in the sense that if you've got the bad diode in there and it fails, it's the only thing that fails. Unlike those death farts that we've been fixing a bunch of up to this point, those death farts, when those filters go bad, and as they get worse, it will cook your subwoofer speaker and blow up all sorts of parts on your amplifier. So we will replace the Schottky diode that's causing their power issue. We're also going to replace those filters so it doesn't come back to us for death farts or other common bass issues. And I don't believe I know if they want it reset and updated or not. If I didn't get a repair request from you, I do not mess with the software on it unless you ask me to. Uh-oh. There we go. Ah. Jonathan, welcome back. Just so you know, yours was, if you're watching live with us now, yours was actually the very first one that we did on our stream today. Feel free to hang out with us live while we fix up these others, or rewind back to the beginning to catch what was up with yours. Thankfully, though, we got it figured out. Or maybe you're just, maybe you already caught up and you're just with us now live saying thanks. In any case, I love a good challenge, and I love to pop a new issue up on the website to hopefully help someone else with maybe the same thing. Alright, I'm gonna help my wife bring the kid in. I will be right back. Sorry, folks. Alright. Oh boy, we are back. And oh buddy, are we back. Cheers, folks. Yeah, that tastes a lot better. For some reason, the last Asahi I got tasted like it was bottled in a fish factory. But that one tastes perfect. No comparison to getting it straight in Japan, let me tell you. But it'll still hit the spot. Alright, let's cruise through a few more of these and get out of here so we can go eat some food with the missus and the kid. Steezy, welcome back. What is up? What is up? Ooh, that was close. That almost broke off or stripped. Uh-oh. Oh, that might be all of them. Yep, I think that's all the hiccups I got for here and now. Yep, that's it. I can feel it. That's my useless superpower. I can tell how long I'm gonna have the hiccups, down to the very hiccup. I can also tell if I'll be able to hold my breath for 10 seconds to get rid of them or not. I've noticed there's like two types of hiccups. There's the kind of hiccups that you get from eating or drinking something too fast. Those are the ones that you can get rid of with most of the conventional tricks that you hear around. You know, holding your breath, eating a spoonful of peanut butter, standing upside down with a glass full of water, or whatever. Those tricks will, you know, most of those will get rid of those hiccups. But then there's the second kind of hiccups. The absolutely cursed kind that just come out of nowhere. You weren't eating or drinking anything. They just pop up out of nowhere. And those are the ones you're screwed. You just gotta ride it out. No trick will stop them. Hiccups aren't even real, bro. Just like close your lungs, close your mouth. I have stopped following. I've stopped caring about CPU model numbers when Intel went to the 10 series. That's when I fell off the PC hardware game. Up to that point, I was always up to speed on that stuff. But I don't know what the hell they're doing I don't know what anybody's doing these days. All I care about is what I've got can do what I need it to do. I don't care about any. I don't care. I can care for a lot of this AI stuff. I do think it is a really neat tool when used properly, but they need to appropriate the energy use a little better. And by that I mean all the water that... It's wild that the way that they decided to cool it, all these AI servers that run ChatGPT and all, you know, everything that runs off that, it burns, it literally evaporates a whole bottle's worth of water for a simple response. So it makes you be a little more considerate with what you ask it. At least that it made me a little more considerate of how I used it when my wife told me that, and I couldn't believe her. I looked into it, and sure enough, the way that they cool them, it's evaporative cooling, and it wouldn't be, you know, a problem in and of itself if where it was evaporating it could rain back down. And they're taking this water from places where they don't have enough water already. Geez. I don't want to sound crazy. We'll move on. How's the weather? But no, don't go using AI for just thinking for you. You know, you wouldn't use a hammer for a screw, and you wouldn't use a screwdriver for a hammer. But it's definitely got its place. I'm actually trying to think of some good examples. Well, I guess for one, it can be a great brainstorming tool. And I'm not saying ask it for ideas for your significant others, like for a present for someone. That's kind of... at that point, just get them a gift card or give them cash. But, you know, and making it do work for you, or like producing content. Now, what it should be used for, and I mean, you guys have heard it a million times from others, but it should be used for things that we don't want to do. The repetitive, mundane, boring tasks. So that way we have more time to do the things that we do want to do. But not at the cost of the job of somebody else that wants to do it. So, like, you know, somebody may not want to spend the time drawing a certain piece of art for something, or editing a certain piece of content, or making a certain song, or doing something. They may want to, you know, use AI to make it instead of paying an actual artist That's just one of the many problems too. You've also got to remember the majority of these models out there were trained off of data from people that didn't exactly know or explicitly even give permission at all for their content to be trained on and their style copied. I mean, you do that if you tried to do that to a company, like you go and try and copy Disney's style, you'd get sued for that, right? But it's okay now because the company's going around and scraping everybody's data and using that. I'm not even halfway through my first beer and I'm already getting crazy here. We gotta chill out. No, I will, on the flip side, I will fully admit to using like ChatGPT or Claude or Copilot. I tried various different AI tools here and there for different things. Like sometimes I'll get stuck trying to code something or script something or model something. Or just any general problem. My first instinct is to search on Google, of course, because I want to get real people's perspectives. And if I'm not satisfied by if I haven't been able to find an answer after that, then I go to AI. I go to the chatbots. Now, for the stuff that runs on your device, who cares? Right? Like that's all using the power on your phone, and that's peanuts, right? Go ham. But still, I guess it might be a valid concern that it might make people dumber. But on the flip side, I always wonder if people said the same thing about computers and even calculators or just like any new technology in general. So the dumb people are going to be dumb. All I can hope for is that it just doesn't make us all, as a collective, dumber. It's the equivalent of, I think this is a good comparison. Like, back in school when you had to do your math homework, you couldn't just write the answer down. You had to show your work. You had to show how you got there. You have to show an understanding of how you got that answer. And depending on what it is you're doing, like, I mean, if you're not a professional and you really don't care and it wouldn't benefit you to become a subject matter expert in something just to answer a question or solve a particular problem for that given moment, that's another good use of it, in my opinion. But there's still those considerations. Like if you're trying to get You're trying to make a piece of art? Pay somebody that's trying to make a living to do it instead of stealing their data through an AI bot that's just going to replicate their style for you. All other things, you know, have fun. Try not to go through too many water bottles. Oh, I saw everybody I saw everybody on Twitter blowing up about Nvidia's new like little mini AI PC. And I just can't help but not get excited. Like, I'm not excited for this at all. It's just so whatever. Such a big marketing hype over something that has, frankly, really not, like, there's other things out there that beat it. There were people making perfectly valid comparisons to other pieces of hardware that are already on the market that wipe the floor with this thing. Oh geez, I have been neglecting the chat. Let's catch up with that. Live near a 3-mile island. Everyone was losing their minds when Microsoft announced they were going to reopen their... Oh geez, yeah. Yeah, okay. Google might have already been using a lot of that power for their data centers and search engines, and now they're just reappropriating that power towards AI. But Google's not the only person I'm talking about here. Surprisingly, Google seems to be one of the lesser of these all evils. I haven't done too much any research into how Google does it at all, but for all we know, the power that they were getting from the data for their search engines and data centers in the first place wasn't particularly well sourced to begin with. But I won't say that, because I don't know. Hey, go ask ChatGPT how much water it uses for every query and if it's ethically sourced. No, don't do that. The 5070, okay, I again, and I can't get excited for the new Nvidia cards because it's like, yeah, they might have way better performance than the last gen, but that's not native performance. That's with next generation, the next generation's freaking upscaling and super sampling. And I can't get excited for that like I used to get excited for raw performance benchmarks. Like, give me a card that can do a video wall of 4K 144 hertz monitors at native resolution. See, I'm particular. I'm a snob. I want it perfect, or I don't want it at all. I want it the best it can possibly be, or I don't want it at all. That's right.
I'm having trouble connecting.
All right. Eric is alive and well. let's move on to Aaron. I apologize, I'm not sure which one that would be. And I should know by now, this isn't the first time you've been with us here. And then, let's see who is next. And let's shoot some emails. So we've got... a bricked pod. Ooh. All right. Cool. We can fit everyone in one line now. BR225 is up next. Let's find their e-moral. Ah, we texted them. So I shall pull out the laptop, the glorified text messaging machine, and find number 225's phone number here. Alright. 225 has been notified.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Alright, so the popping is not so loud on this one, but I can already kind of tell and, yeah, smell that subwoofer is on its way out. Those filters have already gone bad and started roasting it. And... Oh. Someone's been in here. This is one that we have worked on before. Let's see. This one might have been so old that it was from before when we replaced the filters in each of them. We're gonna find out here. Let's see. Oh yeah. No, almost definitely. This is one that we fixed for them. Wow. Back in May of 2013. For no power. Ooh. That's broken. So we had this back in May of 2013, or 2023 for no power. Almost 2 years ago. But back then, this is kind of what I was talking about with, well, now we replace those filters as part of every repair. These filters, likely tested just fine in this HomePod back then, but unfortunately we did not know how long they were actually going to last. And this is why. That is okay, even though it's been, you know, they far outlasted their use. We'll give them a good deal on this one. Wow. This must have gotten beat. We're gonna have to replace this Thankfully, I've got plenty. You'll have to apologize for the 2-year-old. She is 2 years old after all. She's still figuring it out. Wow. Well, if it, oh? The subwoofer actually seems to have survived. I am really surprised. That sounded like it was definitely a goner. It smells like it was getting close, though. It was getting warm at the very least. Oh, well, hindsight's 2020. If we knew back then that these filters didn't last. I don't even know if we knew how to fix death farts and bass issues back then. We might have only been doing no power. I'll have to do some Wayback Machine research on older versions of my website to see what I was doing back then. Oh, all that's worked up a thirst. And no more. Fear not, the wife hooked us up. All right, let's get these filters replaced. Those are definitely the originals, yep. Not even a spot of flux. We haven't been here. We'll take a peek at the Schottky diode and see how that's holding up. It'll be a nice example to see how well, it's been about 1.5 years. Almost 2 years. Tarkov. Oh, you have fun with that. I'd like to try that one day. I've got a Steam Deck, I should really use it. I just can't, in good conscience, I can't play games when I've got 30 to 50 unread emails and people crawling to me for frickin' please help me with my HomePod. I've tried fixing it and I broke it. And like sometimes if I don't reply like the same day, people either think I'm dead and they go to someone else, and there isn't really anyone else. They sell it, they think I'm a scammer, or they break something else trying to fix it themselves. So I can't sit on a couch and play games when in the back of my head that might be going on. I can sleep easy at night when I've got no unread emails. We could do better. There we go. And that looks like that's it. All right. And that Schottky diode has held up perfectly. It looks great. It is a sealed enclosure, so I wouldn't expect anything to really get in here and cause any more problems. And it would stay relatively clean, especially compared to something like an iPhone or a MacBook.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
That sounds a lot better already.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Oh yeah. Alright. They want that done up in pink, so we will get that knocked out for them. This is, I'm feeling like this is going to be the last one here. So we've got a HomePod here that is bricked. It's either got the blinking volume buttons or it's just not gonna set up or configure for us. We'll see here. I have a feeling it's the blinkies. We'll get our handy dandy USB dock ready. I think it's gonna be a blinker. Let's see. Is that ever gonna blink? The display should time out after 60 seconds and blink the volume buttons. That's an eternal boot. That is eternally booting. Let's see. My IP for my laptop has changed, so I need to update that. 164. Okay. Reconnect. Okay. Alright, so we've got an eternal booter here. It doesn't want to do anything other than spin that wheel. Oh. Okay. We're gonna put this down. I 3D printed this as part of my USB dock. It's part of the case, but it also doubles as a protector for the top, so that when you stick it upside down, as you need to in order to put it into DFU mode, which is what you need to do to attempt a USB restore, we can connect this without scratching the top up and wiggle it around all we want. But we're going to secure this. And tell you folks what. If this restores, we will fix another one. If it doesn't restore, I'm calling it. We're going to plug in our USB cable. Let's get our screen share up there. If you promise not to look at my password, I will sign in for you. Much appreciated. Thank you. Alright. I trust that you folks, well, we'll save this stuff for a future video. That is a secret. If you know what any of that has anything to do with anything, then props to you. But here we go. Let's see if we can't save this HomePod with nothing more than a USB restore. We're going to put it into a Gasterpone state so that we can upload the custom firmware. And then we're going to run our handy dandy iDevice restore command that should push that software to it. Most hardware problems will cause this to error out pretty quickly. So if we get a progress bar for the restore progress, then we are in great shape. If it hangs on anything else, then I'm tapping out for today. It's going. It's working. It's restoring. No way. That's the kind of luck we need around here. Yes! It's going. It's working. It's restoring. All right. Well, I guess that means we're going to fix one more here. I'm going to very carefully try to set this to the side without disturbing that USB cable. There we go. And I am going to, yep, there it goes, restoring image. It's got a progress. That is most likely going to work. So BR225 here did opt for the additional hardware maintenance, so whether or not the USB restore works, they want to pay a little extra to have us take it apart and prevent the other common hardware issues. But this is going to take a few minutes, so we're going to turn the screen off there, and we are going to grab another HomePod here. And we are going to make the most out of our time. NP214. They are the lucky last repair for this stream. Let's shoot them a message so they can watch. And let's adjust our text on the screen. There we go. Alright, tell you what folks, this feels weird to me. I'm not even going to test this. We're going to assume they sent it in and it actually has no power. We are going to assume that it only pulls a few watts of power from our kilowatt meter. And we are going to assume that all it needs is that diode replaced. We're also going to replace those filters that cause all sorts of bass issues too. But my point is, this no power issue is so common, I'm willing to bet we can go in blind, replace the parts, and put it back together without testing or diagnosing anything, and have this a good working HomePod again. Let's try that out. I'm going to keep an eye on the progress of the restore for BR225 there. I'll call it out as I see it update. What is our progress? We're at 25% now. Oh, you think, yeah, this plastic film? Some people are very particular about their HomePods. I can tell with number 214 here that they have kept theirs in particularly good shape. And that plastic film is of no trouble to us working on these. You won't be able to tell that it was even ever worked on once we're done with it. Except maybe that it works a little better. We're at 35% on the restore progress for 225's bricked pod. Do I have any of our regulars in the with us today? Is Joseph the Lurker with us? Is Raj here? Do we have anybody here that's here for the first time? I bet a few of you are watching that aren't signed into YouTube and or don't want to leave a comment and basically dox yourself with your full name on your YouTube channel. Joseph, yes! Yes! Oh, it might be silly, but I'm glad you're here even if you don't say anything. Just knowing that you're here makes me feel a little better. Oh, where are we? We are like 85% of the way through that USB restore now. Oh, we got Mike King here, of course, with us. Yes. Jason, have you chatted in before? I mean, I want to say I recognize your name, but I'd be surprised if I recognized it from only one other time. But in any case, welcome back. It's nice to have you with us here again. On the weekend. Okay, yeah, recently. Well, here, let's make the last one a little more exciting. Cheers. Oh. Restore finished. Guess what? Number 225. Yes! The sweet sounds of a HomePod ready to set up. Congratulations, number 225. Yours took a USB restore. I'll go ahead and knock out that hardware maintenance that you asked for on our next stream. We're gonna get 214 wrapped up here. And we're gonna go eat some food. Because I am running on like 2 calories right now. Oh, it just dropped down. I'm only on 1 calorie now. Let's see if we can make it last. Hey, not good for someone who's had 10 shots of espresso and nothing else to eat today. Let's see. Yep, 48K for a Schottky diode. We're not surprised though. Oh man, I hate to make a comment about this because I try to not bring it up because I think it's weird, but I have to say it. 225, your HomePod smells amazing. I don't know what it is that you put on. I don't know what's in your bathroom or whatever it is that this smells like, but I need to know what that smell is. It is fantastic, and I have to get it. Oh, I can't wait for, like, you can take your phone camera and take a picture of anything and basically, like, search, like, reverse search it and find out what it is. I can't wait for something like that, but for smells. And I mean, I'm sure there are tools, like, commercial and professional tools out there. I'm talking about an app on your phone. As convenient as pointing and clicking search with your phone, but for smells. Better than smelling like cigarette butts. Oh. Hey, big props and shout out to my stepmom. She's been going on for like a month now. She tried to quit smoking, and I mean, this lady's like, I think she's in her 50s or 60s. So, and smoking's been basically a lifelong habit for her. So quitting is not a trivial task for her, and she's talked about doing it for years, basically for as long as I've known her, as long as I've known my wife. So that's more than 10 years now. And yeah, just shout out to her because she recently quit smoking and she's been a month clean now. And that's gotta be rough, man. I mean, I've got my electric cigarette, my vaporizer. I won't lie to you guys, but I can. It's so weird. I can lose it. I can run out of juice or need a new coil, and I'll just stop using it for days or weeks. I don't care. Like and I know you hear it from everyone, from all the addicts. I don't need it. I can quit whenever I want. But if you've got ADHD, your brain's wired a little differently. And I don't mean to sound special or anything. I mean, there's a lot of people out there with ADHD, so just because you have ADHD doesn't mean you're special. And I mean, I'm no different. I'm just another guy out here. And you're just here because I'm fixing something you got, or similar interests or whatever. Anyways, I vape because it helps me focus on stuff. It takes me, I lose focus after a few minutes. I've got the inattentive variant of ADHD, and it's hard for me to sit down and focus on one thing for more than a few minutes at a time. I either have to multitask to get things done, or that's how I get stuff done. I multitask. I like to do multiple things at the same time. But vaping, I guess nicotine has been shown to help with people with ADHD symptoms focus, and it kind of makes sense. Between you and me, at my day job, before I started vaping, and before I go off on this is a full disclosure. Do not pick up smoking. Don't pick up vaping. Don't pick up any of this crap. Your life will be better, easier, and cheaper without any of it. Stick to what your doctor tells you to do. But anyways, back to my personal story. My wife took a job years ago, at this point, at a smoke shop, and as a byproduct, we got plenty of free samples of things. So that was the first time I basically tried. No. I've tried plenty of cigarettes and vapes and cigars and what have you, but I never really got like sucked in or addicted to any of it. I would always get a pack of cigarettes or get a vape here and there, and like when I ran out, that was it. I wouldn't think of it, and I'll go for a while before I'm like, yeah, let's go for a hit. But it really helps. It really helps me personally, especially during these longer streams where we've got so many to work through. It helps me sit down and push through a few more instead of just doing 2 or 3 and calling it good and making everyone wait for weeks at a time. Again, this isn't any kind of endorsement or praise for smoking or any kind of drugs or nicotine or any of that. I absolutely do not. There's so much else out there that's better for me than nicotine to help me focus on my job and what have you. The only positives you should be getting out of any of this is how it's helped me. Don't take any of that for yourself. Find other ways. Hey, look at that, we've got power. So we've got 225 all fixed up with nothing more than a USB restore. It's a shame Apple didn't offer this as a fix in store, or at the least sold their customers a restore dongles so they could make at least a few more bucks. I mean, it was such a perfect opportunity for them. Like, whatever. That's a rant for another stream. We've got 214 also all fixed up here. So we will do the maintenance on 225 in the next stream. 214 is all fixed up, and I am famished. So that is it for this stream, folks. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Goodbye.